everyone. I'm sure some of you have noticed that people are again claiming to know when the world will end. And apparently it's either on the 23rd or 24th of this month. Now, let me first remind you of Mark 13:32. Now concerning that day or hour, no one knows, neither the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. So, except for God the Father, no one knows when Jesus is going to return. Could it be soon? Well, maybe. Could it be the 23rd this month? Possibly. I don't know. You don't know. Only God the Father knows. I mean, for all I know, it could be the 20th, but it doesn't really matter. Because we need to be ready at any day. And any true Christian won't be afraid of it, because Jesus returning will also mean He will take those who have remained faithful to Him with Him up into heaven. So, what awaits us after death is eternal life with Jesus. And also, it's hardly the first time someone claimed they knew when the world was going to end. Like, seriously, there were so many so-called end of the world prophecies, none of which were real, because real prophecies actually come true. Those simply didn't. Let me give you a few examples. Several years ago, I found a list where most of the, let's call them failed end of the world prophecies, were recorded. One of the earliest was actually in the year 70, and yes, I do mean 70, when the Romans conquered Jerusalem. Many believed that the end of the world would come, but, well, it obviously didn't. Also, several in the following centuries, and who would have guessed, the 31st of December of the year 999. Basically, people being superstitious about a number. Now, that wasn't the only time. It was also in the year 1000, which, again, it didn't happen, because otherwise, well, I don't know which ones of my ancestors wouldn't have even been born, but it goes many generations back. Also, the year 1033, because that would have been 1,000 years after the death of Jesus, and again, nothing happened. Well, at least not the end of the world. On top of that, there were almost in every century after that, there was something, sometimes several, and then, of course, who would have thought, in the year 1666, because, well, 666, and again, it didn't happen. As we all know, because we're currently in the year 2025 and the world is still very much there. And at some point, it seemed to become kind of popular, let's say, to make a prophecy about the end of the world, because why not? Got nothing better to do, I guess. Meaning, throughout the 19th century, there were several more. And during the 20th century, well, guess what? Even more. Starting in the year 1901, apparently. But again, nothing really happened. Also, I want to note that some tried several times. For example, the sect of Jehovah's Witnesses, and they tried several times. Others did too, and, well, the only thing that happened was that they lost all credibility in being able to predict the end of the world, which, again, no one is able to do that, except for God the Father, because he already knows. And the list just goes on and on. And I've since encountered several other so-called prophecies about the end of the world that are not even recorded on this list I'm reading from. Except on this list, there are already over 200 of those prophecies. Well, not real prophecies. And it goes to show people obsess over it all the time. And I just don't get it. Why? Why? Especially in the 80s, apparently the world was supposed to end like a dozen times or so. In the 90s, even more often. And if you can believe it, there were 30 different prophecies according to which the year of the end of the world would have either been 1999 or 2000, and again, nothing happened. I mean, I didn't really notice those because I was born only in 1996, so at the end of 2000 I was 4 years old, and, well, what 4-year-old notices something like that? The first one I really noticed, not sure if you have, was about that calendar of the Mayan culture that supposedly could tell about the future, and apparently that calendar ended on the 21st of December of 2012. That's what people thought. Of course, the world was going to end. Or not. Still remember, there was kind of this running gag within my family. Whenever someone would go outside in the year 2012, they would jokingly say that they would check if the world was still there. And, well, clearly it was, because here we are 13 years later and the world is still there. I even noticed that some people try to kind of revive that 2012 prophecy in 2021, saying that the last two numbers were accidentally flipped, and, well, again, nothing happened. So, what I want to emphasize with that is it's okay not to know sometimes, but that doesn't mean that we should make just random guesses about things we have no idea about. Some things we don't know, it's better that we don't know them. What we need to do is to trust God, because He knows. So keep that in mind, and God bless you.